to contaminated wheat, which people don't know about, and it's pesticides and stuff. So you need to go for like organic pesticides on fruit. You get insects that won't eat them. They won't eat poison, but we're putting them on, so we eat them. Like antibiotics are one of the worst things for you both. It's like a nuclear bomb.
Raw milk, which is weirdly illegal. Like, you cannot buy milk straight for your cow. It's got to be pasteurised, and it's illegal in the UK.
About sugar. Sugar's obviously really, really bad. The artificial sweeteners is awful.
Do you find that some mental problems can then manifest physically and cause these sort of issues as well, maybe even kickstart an intolerance? Hello and welcome back to the Longshots Podcast, and today we have a special guest. He owns one of the fastest growing private healthcare companies in the UK, and today it's Jon Doyle. Jon, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, lads.
Welcome, Jon. I've been excited for this for a few months, mate. Honestly, it's been on the pipeline, isn't it?
Yeah, I have myself I've been looking forward to coming to Glasgow as well. I love it here.
Proper Glasgow weather for you today, mate.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, last time I come it was freezing as well, and the rain. So it's always still raining here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice grey, cloudy
First,
skies.
just before we start, mate, obviously you're Scouse. You're a football fan?
Yeah, I'm a Red.
You're Red?
Liverpool. Yeah. What about yourselves?
Blue. Glasgow.
Mate,
Blue Glasgow.
Do you know
Red,
what?
red Liverpool,
right.
red Liverpool.
I'm sick of saying this, right? But I'm no one. I'm no one.
Oh, you're not
massive
into
football
footy,
fan,
no?
right? I'm
Embarrassing. Embarrassing, mate.
Everybody goes you're you know into football. No, I'm actually really into football, but
Yeah.
I don't side with either team, mate.
You're not too bothered, no?
Nah, not
You're
bothered, mate.
Rangers. Yeah.
I'm Rangers, mate.
Oh.
Here's a question. Seeing Liverpool, how do you decide if you're a red or a blue?
It's just like your mum and dad, isn't it?
Is
Well,
it?
not your mum and dad, your dad.
There's
Kinda-
no-
it's
yeah.
kinda similar to asking, like, how do you decide if you're a Rangers or Celtic fan?
But
You
you
know
can
what I
kind
mean?
of go down like Catholic and Protestant as well.
But you'd
aye.
have got people like Gallagher used to be a blue, didn't he? And then he went to a red. So like there was a lad in our street who we grew up with. He used to be red and then he went to a blue. Don't know how. Don't know how that happened.
Aye.
Went wrong there, but
That's majorly frowned upon, I
Yeah.
take it out.
I feel like
Someone-
changing is like a no-go.
you can't.
Yeah.
If you're a blue, you're a blue. You're red. You're red.
To be honest, right, there's been times where I've wore Celtic taps and that when I was a wee guy. I used to be Rangers when I was younger, so I grew up Rangers.
Yeah.
And then there has been wee moments where I kind of like chucked a Celtic tap on and that.
Really?
But I've took stick for it, right? I know. But
Yeah, I think I'm more Rangers just because of Gerrard.
So I like to see, bro.
'Cause I had no horse in the race, but like
Right.
now because Gerrard obviously.
Yeah. I've got,
Everyone
like-
adores him in Liverpool.
Me and my family can have an emotional attachment to Liverpool for some reason. My younger cousin, my brother, both loved Liverpool growing up. My wee brother's Gerard Daft, and one of my uncles says to me when I was really young that when I had like a certain haircut that I looked like Fernando Torres, so I just loved him.
do,
ever
mate,
that's
since.
a shout, man.
And,
You do now.
I'll take it, mate, 'cause I love the guy. I love the guy.
That's a
man.
wee bit, doesn't he?
Aye, and he's like,
He's tense now, I know. See when he went to Chelsea, because I like Chelsea as a team. When he went to Chelsea and he just played rubbish, it was one of the most soul-destroying times of my life. But when he scored that goal for Barca, so against Barca, sorry, man, that was like a moment in my life, man. What was it like growing up in Liverpool, by the way?
it's great to be fair. Yeah, I'm from Kirby originally, so it's not like it's not. I wouldn't say it's the roughest part, but it's not the best part. Just in the middle, mate.
Yeah.
So
All the kind of like Scouse boys I've ever met when I've kind of stayed abroad and stuff like that, I always find they're dead like people from Glasgow. You know?
100%. I feel like Glasgow, Ireland, Liverpool, Newcastle, just the same. Whenever I've come here, the one thing with Glasgow when I come, last time I'm not seeing it too much, I only come last night, but everyone's just dead cool, dead sound. They just treat, and I feel like Liverpool's the same. Like everyone just treats you like your family there, you know.
Yeah. Important question actually. So see the shoe, the Air Max 95, do you call them 95s or 110s?
110s,
110s all day.
110s,
I still call them 110s. Don't wear them no more, but like,
Yeah.
I
we
still
used to
call
call
them
them
110s.
95s, mate. Never called them 110s. I think 110s was the only time it was you that said that.
Because I'm from Glasgow, but he's from Bells Hill.
Slightly different area, mate. Aye.
Yeah.
Slightly different area. Do you have any like brothers and sisters growing up?
Yeah, just an older sister.
An older sister?
3 years older than me, yeah. So, yeah, it's just, to be fair, it's just like a normal upbringing, to be fair. Like, yeah, it's just like, the norm, yeah.
But we're interested to hear about what it is you do, mate. And like, I know you cover quite a range of different things, mate. So just try and run us through a wee bit about what you do for work.
Yeah, okay, so at the moment, I have a healthcare company, a private healthcare company. Can we add to that?
We'll go with that, aye.
Yeah, so I have a private healthcare company called JD Testing. We do many things. The main thing that we do is intolerance testing, which is to help people like inflammation to stop symptoms like, skin conditions, stomach, energy, anxiety, sleep, that type of stuff. Do allergy testing, which is more for, people eating and their lip swells up, runny nose, itchy eyes, hay fever, that type of stuff. Obviously can be more dangerous, that allergy testing. Allergies, sorry. We do GNA, genetic map testing. That's basically to see, you, for example, like your family, anything that's hereditary, something that gets passed down, like heart problems, things like that. When you do that, you only have to do it once because your genetics don't change.
Yeah.
That's basically to see, you might go, you're struggling with this and this in your family. Here's what you do to fix it. So I don't really speak about that too much, but that's a really, really good test.
That's an interesting one because my family kind of have like a kind of heart sort of thing that goes on.
Yeah.
A few people have like heart murmurs, and my granddad just had to get like heart surgery there to like open up something. I don't know the whole shebang, but there's a heart issue there, so I'll maybe look into that at one point.
100%, yeah. We'll get you one of them, definitely.
Yeah, but how did your whole journey with like the kind of health thing start then?
Yeah, okay, so it's a long story.
It's good. We've got time.
We've got plenty of time. Mate.
Yeah, so I'll go from the start. So I've always been a kid. I've always been into sport, everything as a kid. Like, always been a really good runner. Most sports I've always been really good at. My dad, semi-pro footy player, always been obsessed with me like that. So my nutrition's always been good. Always been that kid that's checking the back of like, see how much sugar is in this and all that type of stuff. And I was about 17, 18. I had like an instance happen to me, like quite traumatic. I didn't link the two at the time, but I was completely fit and healthy, no problem whatsoever. Bad car crash.
Yeah,
I was
going to say.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. I won't go into detail, but you can probably read between the lines what happened. And since then, a couple of weeks later, started getting like tons of problems. Like, all of a sudden, I've got skin problems. Doctors are saying, oh yeah, I've just got an adult acne, rosacea all over my face, psoriasis all there. Eczema come a little bit later, starts getting eczema there like years later. And all kinds of problems, anxiety, panic attacks, couldn't sleep, no energy whatsoever. I'd wake up and I just want to go back to sleep. I've got a huge list, to be honest with you. Tinnitus ringing in my ear. Just felt horrible, low moods, absolutely everything.
Yeah,
I thought I was dying. So I was in the doctors like every single week. No joke, every single week, probably about a year. Really, really bad. Doctors are just saying, oh yeah, you've got anxiety. And I'm like, I didn't feel like anxious, like I'm worrying about anything, because I'm not really a worrier. And doctors going, oh yeah, you've just got anxiety. That's what people with anxiety think. And I'm like, right, okay. So I'm telling people I've got anxiety. That's me. I've got anxiety. It's all in my head because I believed it. And then I remember in my workplace, I had a meal. I had a half chicken, chips and gravy, which is gluten for the gravy. The chips probably did as well because they're in the same fryer. And potato and also the chicken. At the time, I was actually intolerant to all three of them, and I didn't know. And after it, I felt like I was going to faint. I walked away and I was like, I've just ate, and I feel like I'm going to faint. That's a bit weird. I was like, Googled it and it said you got high blood pressure. And I went, have I got high blood pressure? I was living in the gym at the time, literally 2 hours a day, obsessed with the gym, eating really good. I know that's not the best meal ever, but most of the time, I was eating perfect. And I was like, it's got to be something to do with my diet, surely. So then I started like thinking, because at the time I was like, is it a vitamin deficiency? Is it this? Is it that? I was like, the doctors aren't helping me, so I've got to help myself. And then I started looking into my nutrition, started like, what's this, what's that? And this is like, 13 years ago, probably even longer. And then I just come across gluten first, which we were speaking about earlier. And I was like, gluten? I was like, I didn't even know what gluten was at the time, because it weren't even a thing then. Now it's massive, isn't it? At the time, it weren't even a thing. And I didn't think it was anything to do with gluten. And then I went, you know what, let's just cancel it out. I said it's wheat, so I was like, oh yeah, cool, all right, I'll just cut that out. After maybe a couple of days, I ate in my workplace. I had granola, and then I come down and I felt like blurred vision, like I was going to faint. And I felt like this. It's hard to describe, like it just felt horrible. And I was like, I felt like that the other week after that. And I was like, but I haven't even ate gluten. And I Googled it and it's like, granola's got gluten in.
Yeah.
I went, oh my God. I remember the moment, I went, oh my God, I've cracked it.
Yeah.
So then I cut out gluten, changed my life massively. Caffeine was another story. Basically I started having like panic attacks and the brain fog, the anxiety, no sleep, that type of stuff. Just like, I'll just cut out caffeine, changed my life even more. Them two were always my worst ones, but at the time I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was like, oh, let's just try more, become obsessed with it then. I've always been obsessed anyway, like I said earlier, with me checking the back of stuff. So I cut out milk then, skin cleared up. So stop using my steroid cream, stop using all of the shampoo, Nizoral it was at the time. And I was like, wow, that they're my intolerance, I can't have them.
Yeah. It's interesting that because you mentioned granola. A lot of people look at that as like a health food, but like it's not healthy for everybody, you know? Is it even a health food, really? It's
full of sugar, a lot
full
of
of
it,
sugar,
aren't they?
exactly.
And then like even like oats as well. Oats are contaminated with wheat, which
Yeah.
people don't know about, and it's pesticides and stuff. So you need to go for like organic rolled gluten-free oats.
There's
if
a
you
certain
can.
type of oats, isn't there, where you don't get any gluten in them, because someone told me that and I was like, there's a gluten in oats. I couldn't make sense why.
It's got to be gluten-free for sure, but it is contamination, so it depends on the level. Like you get two, let's just say you two come in for the test. You might both come up with gluten. You might have oats because it's contamination. You might be really bad with it, and you'll go, "Oh, I feel terrible." You might go, "Contamination, I can get away with a little bit of that." So everyone is different.
Yeah.
But for sure, gluten-free, but also it's pesticides, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which we'll touch on in a second. Got a good story with that.
I guess just quickly with that then, what is the whole pesticide thing? Because that's an interesting one that I don't know too much about myself.
I'm the
as well.
same. I hear these pesticides, and you understand that they obviously get sprayed on it. Are they preservatives?
It's really bad. Yeah. It's much worse than you think. And I didn't know this. That's why I've actually got I'd say a cool story. It's not a nice story, but it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
It should probably blow your mind a little bit. But obviously I've always known about pesticides and stuff like they're basically putting pesticides on fruit where you get insects that won't eat them. They won't eat poison, but we're putting them on, so we eat them. It's crazy. But I had a farmer come in for the test with me, and me just being, if someone's into health ending, I'm always like, I want to know the ins and outs of everything. I really, really do. And I said to the farmer, he just retired. And I went, is it as bad as what they say, but like, the pesticides and stuff like that? Because he'd retired, he didn't care. He just went, yeah, they're killing everyone.
Is that what he says?
I swear. Like,
Wow.
He went, they're killing, he went, yeah, they're killing. Not even like making a big deal. It was just like, he was like, yeah, they're killing everyone, yeah. And I was like, they're killing everyone? He was like, yeah. And I was like how? Basically, long story short, his auntie at the time, when they first started spraying the fields, back in the day, if there's like some bugs and stuff, they just spray that plant, whatever it is. Now they spray the whole field. When they started doing it, his auntie stayed on the field. He was like, "Oh, I'm not bothered. I'll stay on here." They sprayed it. She was sick for a week after it, and then a year later, she's died of stomach cancer.
Wow.
So for me, that's off one spray. Obviously, that's a large amount. So I'm not saying if you go and eat some strawberries, which is one of the worst ones, you're gonna die. I'm not saying that. So I'm not like trying to scaremonger or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you're having a small amount for the next, you've always been brought up, haven't you? Like, oh, Father's Day, fruit and veg. You're having that as a kid, so you're 50 hospitals at your
Yeah.
read between the lines.
Quick
you know?
one with that. Is there a better alternative? You're saying strawberries, blueberries. People eat these with their granolas, if you like, but is there a better alternative? Does the organic stuff actually make a difference, or is that sprayed as well?
100% it does. I asked the farmer about this as well, and I said, "What's the best option?" He said, "Organic and hope for the best." His own words. Or grow it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it depends. There's a really good page you should be interested in. Exposed Your Plate. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
It's a guy from Liverpool.
Expose Your Plate, it's called?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really, really good. And for me, like I'm not an expert on pesticides. I can't tell you the specific ones where he goes into detail and he goes, this specific one's linked to this type of cancer. This is linked to that.
There's like a whole list of like chemicals like they put on it. There's not just like maybe one or two pesticides. It's maybe hundreds or thousands.
It's mad. It's
Yeah.
mad.
You mentioned spraying. Is this when they basically fly over the field in a plane and spray it? Yeah. So that's how the farmer's aunt or whatever it was passed away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just on obviously, like if you're going to buy organic stuff like organic fruit, organic chicken, it's obviously going to cost that wee bit more. And so many people are reluctant to actually pay the money, right? I was having this thought yesterday, right? I'm like, look at the car people are driving. People are quite happy to pay £600 a month to £1,000 a month on a car, right? For a vehicle that drives well. But they wouldn't actually invest in their own actual health. They won't do it. This is a vehicle, mate. This is what we've got to the day we die.
I find it like mad.
It's mad.
The thing I say to people, and good examples like the gluten free. You know, some people come in and they'll have a test and they come up with gluten, and they go, "Oh, but it's gonna cost me way more for my shop. It's probably gonna cost them an extra £15-20 a week for the shop." But I guarantee you, if I said to someone, "Is this pill?" and it's going to cost you £15-20 a week, you're going to feel amazing. Skin's going to be clear. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be happy. You're going to live longer. Is that something you'd be interested in? I guarantee you, everyone will go, 15-20 quid, bargain. But when it comes to doing it naturally, Not everyone, but a lot of people are like, oh,
Yeah. That's one of the things that, like, when my clients say to me when they first start, like, oh, this food shop's cost me a fortune. I'm like, it's like an investment in your health though. You will gladly pay X amount for the t-shirts, the cars, etc. But you're not willing to put the investment into your own physical health. You know what I mean? And the returns you get for investing into your body like that is mental, because as you mentioned, like, you're able to just think better so you can operate better. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, because even for me, the most important when it comes to organic is your fruit and veg. But it is everything, because even like your meat, you know more about your antibiotics with the guts.
So I know briefly about the antibiotics. Obviously, they're feeding them through their feed for it, and it goes into the things. But I guess you'd be as well listening to you explain it in a much better manner.
Because even like antibiotics are one of the worst things for your gut. It's like a nuclear bomb in your gut. And even when it comes to, like, obviously fruit and veg are more important. For me personally, my opinion, I'd say if you're gonna go organic and you can't afford everything, cool, no problem. Go for your fruit and veg at least. But when it comes to like your beef and stuff like that, even that, if that's not organic, that's full of antibiotics.
Yeah.
Antibiotics in the gut. That's like it's the one
What
of the
sort
worst
of
things.
so what sort of foods are like sprayed with pesticides? Like, what does it cover? Does it cover meats? Does it cover?
It's mainly, you know, like fruit and veg is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Even like oats and stuff. Anything that's grown on the field basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously when it comes to meat, it's stuff like, you know, what they're pumped with and stuff like that. And even like,
You know, I've never seen an organic potato in a shop ever.
You will get them though. You will get them.
Where?
Well, basically, organic is just how the farmer's essentially going about his things. He's not using any pesticides, and he's not using things to accelerate growth and stuff like that as well.
yeah, I get what you mean. No, it's hard.
It's hard to find, isn't it?
It depends on the shop.
There's very few shops. So see, one of my mates, he was having a lot of issues with his diet, and it was impacting his skin, and he had like a big kind of scab on the back of his head that he couldn't get rid of, and he found out like he had to go down the organic route, sticking to basically a carnivore-based diet, and he was looking for basically grass-fed beef in Glasgow and the surrounding areas, and he couldn't find any farms whatsoever that done it. But there's one shop in the West End, I actually forget the name of it, that does all organic stuff, and they also sell raw milk, which is weirdly illegal. Like, you cannot buy milk straight for a cow. It's got to be pasteurised, and it's illegal in the UK, which is wild.
I find that bonkers.
It's crazy.
I find that bonkers, and like even that as well. You know what I said? Like that's what sounds like conspiracy and stuff, but like. But on the podcast, so I can speak about it.
Go on the conspiracy route, because I'm so far down that rabbit hole. It's terrible. This is actually a tinfoil hat, by the way.
Yeah. Do you know, like for me, like you can't, like, I'm a very logical person, and like I've always been brought up, you know, you look on the adverts and stuff, it's have your 5 a day, get your pesticides in, cereal, most important meal of the day, gluten, dairy, doctors are non-stop fully booked. If you can ring the doctors, you can't get appointments in Liverpool anyway.
Same here. Same here.
Hospitals are completely full. For me, that's adding up. Like that's the way we're getting brought up, and it's normalised now. Because even I was at the Liverpool game. We went to like the boardroom maybe like a month ago, and I got speaking to a guy there, and one of us had like a gluten-free, and he was like, gluten-free wasn't a problem. Like he was like very sceptical. He was like, gluten-free. He was like, no one's even talking about that 20 years, but all of a sudden it's a problem. I'm like, but look, 20 years ago. Everyone's gut weren't ruined because it was just single ingredients, like tomato ketchup, usually like 3 ingredients. Now it's like 8. Like potato, like you got a bag of chips, it's like about 10. Everyone's guts are just getting ruined, so everyone's becoming more sensitive, and the bacteria is getting ruined. And
yeah, you mentioned obviously kind of the whole conspiracy sort of thing. Something that I found quite interesting, because I've trained a few like health professionals, people that work in like the NHS and whatnot. And like what I figured out is they don't really get taught that much about nutrition. They get like a brief overview of stuff, and then like when people are in the hospital, patients and stuff like that, the food that they're giving them, like for example, as soon as I came out my tonsils surgery, they give you like toast, you know what I mean? Like just like a bit of white bread with butter and stuff like that, just kind of like pointless stuff, you know what I mean? But
That is lack of knowledge as well, isn't it?
yeah, but recently I have found that the NHS is now starting to bring in some nutritionists to do some things, but it's not going down the whole organic, like the just the simple foods route. They're still very basic with it, but it's so interesting that the health company of the UK don't focus on food. It's like the best medicine there is.
it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when my uncle died, he had lung cancer. When I went to the hospital to visit him, obviously I hadn't done an intolerance test. This was years back. You know, I think I'd only just started at the time. And I went in to see him, and he's having like cottage pie. It's probably had about 20 ingredients in. And when he's eating it, I'm not going to tell him, no, stop eating now. I'll come and test you. But I was looking at him like, your body is trying to fight this now. It's trying to fight this cancer. and you're literally putting poison in your body now.
Yeah.
You're because most people are intolerant to gluten.
Yeah.
Whether it's a large amount or a small amount, your body's got to fight all this inflammation, and it's fighting that. I was like, it's just, you're literally not making it any easy, are you?
Yeah.
And even if you go to like the cafes there, full of crap, all the ingredients, everything, it's bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
Just as you're touching on the cancer, and this is something I'm not completely clued up on, but what I've kind of seen is like basically cancer thrives in environments where there's loads of sugar, and also like a high acidic level in your body. So obviously, like that's pretty much everybody where the foods are eating around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say about sugar. Sugar's obviously really, really bad. The artificial sweeteners is awful.
Yeah,
cans of Coke. Probably something that'll blow your mind. And I don't have it very often. I know I've just had a little bit then as a treat, because I'd say I'm like 90-10. You know, they say like 80-20, 90-10. Starbucks syrups. They're gonna hate me, Starbucks, for saying this, but do you know how bad they are?
No.
The worst.
Okay.
The worst.
Tell us.
I can. So you've got a can of Coke. You can imagine how bad that is. Starbucks, the syrups are 10 to 15 times more artificial sweeteners.
Okay.
Than that.
Yeah.
You've got pre-workouts, probably like 7 to 8. Protein powder's quite bad. It's bonkers. That's why you want to go for like organic, least amount of ingredients, stuff like that.
You can get organic proteins and all that as well.
100%.
You can get all that stuff.
Yeah, I got one, and I wish I remembered the name of it, because I was at an event a couple of weeks back, and I got a protein powder off them.
You gave me it, bro. You gave me it starts with a B. Is it something? I don't know. I can't remember. Banzi or something like that.
I wish I could give them a shout out, but
you were down there, Brad, weren't you? You were down in Liverpool.
Yeah,
getting the test,
I drove down to Liverpool, just got it done. Because as soon as you said you would do it, I was like, I want to go get it done straight away, because I was obviously having major issues. Like, I was having a lot of dry skin under my eyes. I just came back from Bali though, and I thought that like I'd burnt my face that bad, because I sunburned quite easily. And then I've had like kind of like breakout kind of developing on my kind of back and shoulders for about the last like 2 years. And I was thinking it was all to do with like sweating so much for the gym, because I'm training sometimes like twice a day. And like I've started going down the whole route of like changing my bed sheets like multiple times per week, trying to really like focus on like skincare and stuff like that. And it was just getting gradually worse and worse. And like they weren't spots, but they were like red dots. And I was like, what is happening here? And then a few people basically says to me, have you looked into like your foods and stuff like that, because that has a massive impact on your skin. Obviously Ricky for your gym, he kind of says to us about food intolerances and that, and I went, no, what, time to just go get it tested. And as soon as I got the test done, I started cutting that stuff out, and I did start to see a gradual increase. But I was telling you yourself, over Christmas there, I was getting some pizza and pasta. I'm not going to lie, don't shout at me. But it came back.
Just as we're on the subject of like Starbucks with the syrups and that, right? You mentioned caffeine earlier.
Yeah.
Talk us through like caffeine. Is most people getting like?
It depends. It just depends on the person. Completely. Even if you're intolerant to coffee or caffeine, doesn't mean you can't have it. It depends. Like in the past, if I had a coffee now, I would literally just. I could have if I had, let's just say I had 2, I'd 100% have a panic attack right now.
100%. I'll tell you a story, right? So I went. You know my client Kathy. I've got a client, right? She's 82-year-old. And sometimes, she's a legend, mate, absolute legend. But sometimes I would go for a coffee before a session. So I went for a coffee, had a coffee with Kathy, and then got another one on the go to then go do a session. Went, done a session, spanked that coffee, and then my next client brought me a coffee in again, mate. And I shit you not, I have never been in the worst state mentally. In my whole, I had to finish my shift, mate. I was rattling, mate. I was like just so edgy and rattling and felt terrible. Like the energy crash I got for it was unbelievable. Like an hour later, I was just like rock bottom. But I can only take maybe 1 coffee a day, 2 max. But if I take any more than that, I'm...
Yeah. Do you know the crazy thing with coffee? And I'd say it's most people who come in and coffee comes up and they're devastated. They go like, how can I get on with my day without coffee? I look at the sheet that they filled out and says, what are you suffering with? And I'd say 95% of the time, they put low energy on the sheet. And I'm like, so what is it you have coffee for? And they go, I need me energy, I need to. And I go, have you got low energy? And they go, yeah. And I'm like, so what are you having it for then? It's not even giving you energy. And they're like, okay, so it's just an addiction, isn't it? It is an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah. So I came across like a clip once and it basically says, so see if you have a coffee first thing in the morning within the first like 90 minutes, basically the benefits of the coffee won't even work for yourself because your adenosine system isn't operating. And I cut out my first coffee in the morning and see just letting your body kind of naturally wake up, if you will, instead of just getting a big dunt of energy. I find my energy was much more sustained through the day.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, I'm extremely addicted to coffee.
Do you know what? I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'd love to. I do miss. That's the one thing I do miss. And I've not tried it since, but yeah, that's one's devastating, to be honest with you.
What's interesting though about coffee, and I guess this applies with like cigarettes and other things as well, is see when you first try coffee, you don't like the taste of it, but you eventually develop a taste because you like the benefits. You know, it's really interesting. It's
weird, isn't it? I used to have it dead milky, and then started less milky, and I was like, oh, I love coffee now.
And I just drink it black now because I can't have milk. You know what I mean? But so I guess with that being said, then right. You obviously going through these spells where you're kind of feeling like you're fainting and stuff like that. Sorry, you're feeling like fainting. Cut out the gluten, started cutting out dairy, cut out the caffeine. When did the birth of JD Testing actually happen then?
Yeah, okay, so years later. So obviously I've had all that experience. So I've got way more intolerance. I've got tons of, at the time, tons of intolerance. We'll touch on that a little bit later. I can eat most of my foods now. But at the time, I was just obsessed with it because that's the way I've always been obsessed with nutrition anyway. And you can imagine when that happened to me, I just went on. I was just researching absolutely everything, and not just researching, I was experiencing it. So I'd try everything like a bit of a guinea pig. And even for me, if I had the tiniest bit of gluten, even I remember I had sausages one time with like a meal, and I felt that feeling. I was like, meat's not got gluten, and it goes like sausages got gluten. I was like, oh my God. So I've trialed literally everything. And then years and years later, my friend went for a test, and he went, oh, I've been for a test there, and I come up with like gluten potato, this and this. Cut it out, changed my life. And I was like, oh, I don't need to. I already know about mine. And he's like, oh no, why don't you go for it? And I was like, do you know what? Because the doctors don't do this type of test. And I was like, it'd be good, because at the time I'd say, oh, I can't have these, and people are like, how do you know if you had a test from the doctors? They don't do it. And I was like, people even believe in me. I was like, do you know what? Let's go and do it. I'd done it. Every single thing that I knew come up, plus potatoes. And I went, oh my God. So it's like, obviously I was completely right. And I went, potatoes? I went, no way, I'm intolerant to potatoes. I cut out potatoes. I love potatoes as well. Cut them out for a week. I felt so much better, way more energy, less gassy. And then I had them again, and I felt it instantly. Potatoes, those people, since that, one of my worst ones, and I didn't have a clue about it. And at the end of the test, and no disrespect to the guy, but at the end he was trying to give me advice, and I was looking, I was like, I know way more. I'm not trying to be cocky, just confident. I was thinking, I know way more about this than you. I could like 100%. So that was sort of the penny drops. If I can go into this, I've got that much experience. Because to be good at this job, you've got to have experience. And how do you have experience without? Because I've had that many symptoms, that many foods. And I've done nutrition when I left school. I've done nutrition for a couple of years in college. It was like, obviously I've got the background in nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, but I've got my background. But then when it comes to intolerances, I know them inside out. So that's where I thought, so why don't you go for this? I've had a couple of businesses before that, and I was like, little ones, not big. I went, why don't we go for this? I was working at the time and I hated my job, didn't enjoy it. Started doing this when I was off work, and I loved it. My first 2 clients, as you were saying for skin before, 2 girls come in with skin conditions. I was thinking, you'd think that's nervous, wouldn't you? For me, as soon as I've got this, like, what causes the skin condition? Like, why is this all of a sudden? For me, it was just like easy. I was like, I love this. And the skin conditions went, and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect for me. Loved it. And it just blew up within like a month. Within a month, left my job, went for it full time. Loving it. And I love helping people, love testing, meeting new people, helping people. And that was the start of it.
What year did you actually start?
I think it was like maybe like 3 years ago.
3 years ago? Oh, that's big, man. That's big.
Maybe it was 2022, I think, or I think 2022.
I've been through your page and I've looked at some of the transformations, mate, and there's a particular one with the young girl. That is incredible. Have you got any stories for any like kind of funny transformations? Not funny, you know what I mean? But, like,
big transformations.
Big transformations, maybe a wee bit weird.
I'll say a couple. Okay, so I've got some of the biggest ones. You've probably seen a few of them. My 2 best ones I've done is the guy. Have you seen the ones with the legs?
Yes.
They're probably my 2 best ones. Me personally.
So let's hear them then.
So one guy coming to me. We can get the picture on the podcast.
We'll get up.
Or they can go visit the page, JD Testing.
Just before you go, mate, your page is like really engaging as well, because I found myself going right through it and being like, wow, some of these transformations crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
It's cool. No, yeah. So with that one in particular, so for me, I know it sounds a bit weird, but when people have got a load of problems, that's more exciting for me. So I'm like, I'm going to change your life so much. Someone comes in with like one problem, obviously I'm very happy. But when someone's got loads, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to help you so much. He come in and he was literally like this, like walking, funny, everything. He was on the picture, you'd only see his legs. He was covered, his whole body, probably the worst case I've ever had. Because I've had another leg transformation, but his was just his leg, where this guy was covered. He's like this, getting the test, shaking. And I went, are you okay? How are you doing, mate? Nice to meet you. You're all right? And he was like, not really. He was just devastated. Like, and his son brought him, and I'll be honest with you, he was like, I'm quite good at picking up on people's energy and stuff. He was like, I had no faith at all now. But there's some, he was like, oh, my lads brought me, he's like, told me to get it done. I'm here. I've done it 1 week later, completely clear.
Wow.
So he sent me the picture, and I knew that was going to happen. So that's one. The other guy with the leg, he was doing Thai boxing, and he was like, I can't even go Thai boxing. You know, you see his people didn't want to get kicked by his leg, everything. He's getting funny looks when he was on the bus, all kinds. This was a week. Usually it's 2 weeks, but they didn't have it for that long. They're probably my two biggest transformations in terms of skin.
Yeah.
But the girl that you mentioned earlier, that was my nutritionist, Desiree, who's done it. So I'd say she's beat me, which I'm happy about.
It's so nice to see them.
So what was the story? She was a young girl, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah. It's heartbreaking for me, because it's amazing helping like an adult who's suffering, but a kid who's suffering with the same thing, it's much better to help them. It's more rewarding, because you
see the boys you helped.
Isn't it?
What was it you found that was causing these skin conditions? What was it?
It was quite a few.
Quite a few.
Intolerances most of the time are quite simple. If you've not got many problems, you don't tend to come up with loads. If you've got loads of problems, you tend to come up with more. It's not like, that's what I mentioned to you earlier, you know, when people come up with like, obviously gluten and dairy are common. Someone comes up with gluten, dairy, tomato, onion, potato, they're not all going to cause you skin problems. So like you might find like dairy and tomato causing you skin problems, gluten's making you tired, potatoes making you gassy. They're all going to do different things. So when you just come in with like just anxiety or just gas or something like that, you don't tend to come up with a big list normally.
Yeah. See, we were talking on skin ones as well. Something for the girls is, I always see a lot of girls having issues with their skin, and like they're going for all these sort of makeup products and skincare routines and all that sort of stuff. And then you see, especially like kind of maybe fitness influencers and stuff, like you see their diet and like they're having a lot of dairy and gluten all the time. Like they think they're being healthy, having these like yogurt bowls and the granola and stuff like that. And I don't know why, but I feel as if girls tend to get worse skin than guys, especially with kind of like breakouts. Is that anything to do with like their like hormones and stuff like that, or what?
When it comes to hormones, so I'll clear this up, because a lot of people come in, they go, I think it's hormonal and stuff. If you've got constant bad skin, there's constant inflammation there. So you need to get to the bottom of it. Where if some people come in, I've told people, some people come in with skin conditions, I've went, this isn't going to be a gut. You know, rosacea is a big one, because if you've got rosacea like earlier, if you've got rosacea constantly, it's going to be from your gut. Some people say like, oh, it comes like in the winter, it's bad, the cold, or sometimes when I have spicy food, or if it comes now and again, or once a month, you know, girls, things like that, I'm going to go, this might not be for you. But if it's constantly there, it's constant inflammation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's not seasonal, basically. They're always having breakouts.
If it's always there, I'm saying to people, this is going to get to the bottom of it. If some people come in, they go, oh yeah, it happened like in September, like, and then it happened months before. I'm like, obviously, like stress can factor. I'll give you an example. So my best friend, he got psoriasis earlier, and he rang me and he said, John, look at your WhatsApp there. He went, I've got psoriasis there. He went, what do you think that is? Do you think it's my diet? Do you think it's this? I knew, I won't go into detail about, obviously I'm on a podcast, I want to respect him, but and he had things going on. I'm his best mate, so I knew about it. I knew that weren't that. I went, that'll be gone in a couple of weeks, don't worry about it. That's your stress. And it went. 2 weeks later, it was gone.
So sorry to interrupt you there, mate. That's an all-important one. You mentioned something yourself, obviously went through a traumatic experience, etc. Do you find that some mental problems can then manifest physically and cause these sort of issues as well, maybe even kickstart an intolerance?
1,000,000%. Yeah. So it's completely random, but there's no actual evidence of what causes these intolerances. But from my experience, I've found the most common ones are trauma, like a loss in the family, losing your job, stuff like that. Operations, massive.
Okay.
Antibiotics in the gut, things like that. And then just going through like a lot of stress, in your life, things like that. Having a baby, probably top 3.
Yeah.
Having a baby, that's massive.
Just the stress that comes along with that.
Yeah, and the body stress into it.
And the tiredness and the...
What's more traumatic and to the body than having a baby?
Yeah,
I
well,
suppose.
that's it. I've actually heard of that as well, that some people having like issues post.
Yeah.
Just touching on the psoriasis thing, it just reminded me that I've actually got a wee bit on the back of my left leg, behind my knee. I play semi-pro football, so I was just putting it down to having a sock on, and it was getting irritated. Sometimes it's irritated, sometimes it's no, but it's always there. It's always there, and I'm thinking maybe it is something that I'm eating.
It's a pretty much guarantee.
I'm not cutting out, dairy. I'm not cutting out gluten. I'm eating all this stuff. I'm trying my best to eat as best I can, like have a good diet. But I'm not going into that side of it.
Yeah, you need to come in for us, definitely. Yeah. A lot of people, and you should probably agree with this, a lot of people will see the skin and they'll go, how's that coming from the gut? Doesn't make sense. All that is inflammation. So inflammation doesn't come from thin air. Something's causing it. And if it's constantly there, there's something that's constantly causing the inflammation. The science behind it is, let's just say, for example, you're intolerant to oranges, which is one of the most common for skin, believe it or not.
Okay.
Really?
Let's just say you're intolerant to orange. If your gut struggles to break that down, the bacteria aren't breaking it down. Basically, you're sensitive to it. That's what an intolerance is. You're struggling to break it down. Won't digest properly. It actually gets through the intestinal barrier. So it's leaky gut. It's called. That's what it basically is. It gets into the bloodstream, and then once it's in the bloodstream, your body fights it, which causes inflammation. And then the inflammation for you, it might be, you're getting like inflammation in your knees, knee pain, which I used to get, believe it or not. And you might be getting inflammation here. Some people get it on the foot, face. Everyone's different. Everyone gets inflammation in different ways.
So you mentioned that about like joints and stuff like that there. So see, like arthritis, that's like one I've heard of some young people having like arthritis in their joints, and that can mainly just be inflammation, essentially like reducing the space for your joints to move, and that's where the problems are coming from. And like, how often do doctors tell people, right, okay, let's remove these things from your diet and see how that impacts it? There's a famous guy, Jordan Peterson, if you know who that is.
I know, yeah.
So he had, is it rheumatoid arthritis?
I think I've heard
him and his
this,
daughter have this condition, right? And his daughter was suffering from a very young age. And she basically went on to like almost a full carnivore diet, and like it reduced all problems. And like she even noticed like her face becoming more defined and stuff like that because there was no inflammation in there as well.
Exactly, yeah. It's even like water retention and everything, but 100%, yeah. It's crazy how powerful the gut is. Yeah. That's why like it's pretty hard to believe for some people. Some people look at the page and they'll see the transformation and everything, and they go, that's by cutting foods out. There's no way. Yeah. But it's just the truth. Yeah. As you've seen yourself with your skin, it's an easy fix, to be fair. Once you do a test and then you go, oh my God, I'm happier, I've got more energy, I'm sleeping better. Obviously, it's different for different people. Some people come in and they're a mess. They're like 50% of what they could be, and I'll get them to 100. Someone comes in like 90, 95, like probably like yourself, but you probably felt all right anyway, didn't you?
I felt not too bad. It was getting to me, my skin. It was starting to annoy me. Obviously, I put all this effort into like my physique and how I look, etc. And then when you've got this kind of wee breakout, it's annoying you, because like when I'm wearing vests, I'm like, I can see these spots on my shoulders. It's really annoying me. It was something that I needed to get fixed, just for me personally, I never felt any real health issues though. I did mention though, like when I was having gluten, specifically pasta, I was feeling really tired after I ate it. And I remember back in my younger years, when I was like kind of bulking, one of my breakfasts I used to have was like 5 Weetabix with like a full pint of milk, and I would have that at like 10 in the morning, and I would feel so tired as soon as I had it, like I could literally sleep.
Yeah. The crazy thing with that is, again, where we're talking about like the way you brought up, you had your Weetabix, your energy. Most people have the Weetabix, they fall asleep, because basically the science behind it, and it's so simple. People go like, I think I'm deficient in this, I'm deficient in that. If they're having Weetabix, they're intolerant to wheat, their gut struggles to break it down, so it has to work so much harder to break it down. So it's not the fact that people have got no energy, it's just that all their energy's in the gut. For example, how many people do you know, they'll have their evening meal, we call it tea in Liverpool, your evening meal, and then afterwards you're like, oh, sleepy. How many people? I'd say a lot of people.
Happens to me a lot, mate.
Happens to me a lot. Yeah, because some people have the breakfast and the fan. The gut's got plenty of energy, you've got plenty of energy. Then you have your dinner and work, 12 o'clock, and then you're like, oh, I feel it. then the evening you're like, oh, and then you feel it even more. It's just like accumulating, isn't it?
Yeah.
But a little bit when you said about the doctors earlier, I just want to touch on that. You're saying like, why don't the doctors go into the nutrition and go into the diet? Even if they wanted to, do what I do, they couldn't, because they're not trained in it and they've got no experience in it. So doctors, if you go to the doctor with any type of symptom, you've come in when you've done, filled the symptoms, you've got like stomach problems, everything. If you say to them like, how can I help with this naturally? They couldn't, because they're not trained in it. But they can give you the right pill or the right cream, which I couldn't. So we're completely different. We help in different ways.
These pills and these creams are masking what the symptoms you've got. So it's like a painkiller. Your pain's there, but you can't feel it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? It's still there.
It's like dealing with the problem or treating the root cause of the problem. Like that's a lesson I've really learned over the last year, that like the hospitals and stuff like that, it's medical, it's medicine that they're dealing with. It's not, again, treating the root cause of the problem, in it. No?
Yeah, it's bonkers, because like some of the ads we do, and you get some people commenting like, oh, they just do this in the NHS if you could do it. And I'm like, if they do that in the NHS, one, you wouldn't pay for it, so it costs them money. They'd be like minus however much to do the test, and they're never going to see it again.
Exactly, bro. It's not monetizable.
Exactly. So for us, like, the bad thing about us is you come to us and you don't need us again. That's bad for us, but there's that many people that need help, which, so.
I guess that's a good point to go into then. So what exactly do you offer for people who are watching this and are maybe resonating with some of the problems that you're highlighting here? What exactly do you offer to people?
So we've got a couple of options, but I'll talk about the most common symptoms and things like that we help with. Most people listening to this will be, suffering with like bloating, where you just go, you eat, so you'd have a pint and you go like that straight after it. Low energy, skin conditions, depending on the person, just being dead gassy, sleep anxiety. They're probably the most common symptoms. So you've got two options. So with this inflammation that's causing these, as you said, you can go to doctors, you can get cream, you can get whatever, you get like a pill that'll stop the bloating, you can get anxiety pills, you get sleeping tablets, all that type of stuff, or you can find out what's causing it. So with us, we will find, so you, for example, you come in for the test and you'll come up with these 5 different things, you cut them out, your problem's gone. And then you've got a couple of options then. You can carry on doing that, feel great. You can reintroduce them, which me personally, I think it's good to reintroduce them, because being realistic, I'm always realistic with everyone. You're going to have them again. As you said, you've just had them at Christmas. So I'm a realist. I'm not going to say, oh, never have them again. I'll say, please do it for a week. If it's skin conditions, do it for 2. Once it's clear, have them one by one. Get to know your intolerances. Because you might come up with like banana, for example. Banana and coffee. If you have 1 coffee, you're fine. If you have 2, you're terrible. But then if you have one banana a day, you're really, really bad. Just depends. So have them one by one, and then you get to know them. You go, oh, gluten, terrible. I'm not touching that. Dairy, I can get away with a little bit of dairy. Dairy, believe it or not, depends on what it is. So in the past, my skin conditions, if I had normal cheese, I weren't that bad. If I had melted cheese, it was always worse for me. Weird, always kicked my skin off. Weird, and that's the case with a lot of people.
Yeah. It changes the chemical compound, doesn't it, when you cook certain foods and stuff?
Exactly. Yeah, onions a perfect example. I'd say at least half of the people that suffer with bloating, onion is very common, and it's usually a raw onion.
Right. Okay.
It's more acidic, but when it's cooked nice and soft, usually never a problem.
Yeah.
There's loads of little ways around. Even garlic, for example, garlic's bad for going right through people. So if anyone's listening to this, and they probably will resonate with this. If they go straight to the toilet straight after, if they have garlic, a lot of the time, if you do that, but then instead of chopping garlic up and throw it in, you put cloves of garlic in, let the flavour infuse, take it out. There's little loopholes around everything.
Yeah. Because a lot of people messaged me when I made the video after I came down to Liverpool, and the test that I done, what would you call that test where you're holding the thing? Yeah. How does it work as well? Yeah, so basically it measures your energy levels through your acupuncture points. It is... I'm always dead honest. It is a bit. It feels crazy when I was doing it. Yeah. I was like, it feels mad. But you mentioned how like it's been about for a long time, hasn't it?
How does this work then? So you're holding on. So this is one of the questions I was going to ask you. Like, is it a blood test or like how is it?
So we do blood tests as well. Right. But it's electrodermal screening. It's called. So you're basically connected to the machine. You're basically connected through your acupuncture points. It's energy reading, and basically you put the foods in one by one. It's crazy. You've seen it, haven't you? So basically, it comes up like fine. When you put potatoes in, for example, it starts to shake. There's actually a German doctor who created it, so I've not created the machine. Yeah, I've just been an operator of it. But once you do it, because I done it myself, and when I went for the test, I was expecting a blood test. I was like, blood, this isn't blood. I'll just go with the flow, no problem. Done it, and then afterwards everything come up and I went, oh my God, that's so clever that. So that's how we got into it. But we do blood testing as well. But I always say the machine's much cheaper, it's quicker. If you're local to us, just get that. But obviously if you're from obviously Glasgow, you're going to drive all the way down. Obviously if you're going to Liverpool for a day, fair enough.
Yeah.
But obviously it was nice to meet you and it was good. I'm made up that you come, but obviously some people haven't got the time to drive down and everything and the petrol and whatever.
I think I might come down, mate.
Yeah, and I want
down.
We'll have a little day, the three of us maybe.
I'll come down again. I wanted to, because the way you spoke to me over the over Instagram and stuff like that, I was like, no, this guy sounds like a good guy. So I wanted to come down and physically do that test, because the thing that I liked about the what did you call the electrical test? Sorry.
Yeah.
What did you call
the
it?
electrothermal screen.
Electrothermal screen. So you basically get your results almost instantaneously, and you did mention that that's not as accurate as the bloods, but it's like it's almost as accurate. So it gives you. On you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no. Sorry. Just in terms of the accuracy. So as amazing as the machine is, it's also very basic.
Yeah.
But it's the same even if you do bloods, because let's just say you come up with 5 different things. It's just going to come up with 5 different things. Sometimes it'll come up like low and high and stuff, but most of it depends on your reading, because some people are slower going up. It's hard to explain, but some people's readings are easier than others. But the bloods will actually tell you those 5 things in order. So say this is your worst one, that's second. But it doesn't matter if you do a blood test or not. It's not going to come up, oh, cow's milk is causing eczema, energy levels, and your sleep. Gluten's causing it. It doesn't. So even regardless, if you might come up like 70 out of 100 for the bloods, but it's not telling you. So either way, you have to cut them out and reintroduce them anyway. Yeah. To see what they're doing. So it doesn't really matter too much.
It does identify the things that you're intolerant to.
Yeah. But as I say, some people can get a list of like 5 things, and there's 1 or 2 that are right. If they just have 1 coffee a day, for example, or they just limit it.
That's what you're saying. You need to just try and go like clean for a week or 2, and then start to introduce them slowly.
100%.
And see how they go for there.
So if people aren't from Liverpool and they don't want to make that journey down, the best route is going your online test then, and that is a blood test?
Yes, that's a blood test, and obviously it's personal preference, isn't it?
How does it work, the blood test, the online one?
Yeah, so let's just say you ordered one now. You'll order from our website, it'll go shipped to you. You do the test, ship it back to our lab. As soon as we get the results, we'll send you the results. Me and you will be in contact then, and you will tell me, John, I suffer with this, because that's very important. As I said earlier, if someone's getting bloated and they come up with onions, I'll tell them that little bit of information. If they come up with, for example, they've got skin conditions and they come up with a couple of citrus fruits like orange, tomato, stuff like that, I'll tell them about the citric acid, because a lot of people. Another cool story, and I'm going off.
It's okay, on you go.
Just we were saying about the citric acid. That's why it's so important, and I feel like, whether I'm being biased or whatever you want to call it, I feel like when it comes to giving results out, there's no one better, because sometimes you don't go into that extra detail. And I'll give an example what I mean by that. We had when I very first started, we had a little girl, and she was covered with eczema, covered with it, and it only took 5 days, and it was clear. But then the mum said, it's still on her hands and forearms. And in my head, this is when I first started, obviously I'm more experienced now. I was thinking, well, that doesn't really make sense. Why would it be gone everywhere but not there? The mum come in for the test 2 weeks later and said, John, I've cracked it. I know what it is. Because she was a lot of citrus. Kids wash their hands like that. A hand wash was like some type of like citrus or lemon, whatever it may be. And it was causing inflammation externally as well. So from there, obviously, I've got the experience. So a little bit of information I said about the guy with the leg. There was 2, but one of them is cleared after a week. A couple of days later, he said he went out. I went out and I had a couple of cans of Coke, and it's flared up. And he come up with sugar. And I'll be the sugar. He went, no, sugar-free. I know Coke's full of citric acid, but we're not testing for Coke, are we? Or citric acid, there's no test. But the signs, so that's why the aftercare is so important. So if someone says, oh, suffer with skin or this, or IBS, whatever it is, I go into that extra bit of detail with absolutely everyone. And it depends. If you say, I don't really suffer much at all, probably won't go into it. Yeah. But then if they come back 2 weeks later, I'm still suffering, then I'll go, okay, maybe do that as well, plan B. If someone's severe, I'll go, right, first thing you want to do is get the problem gone, don't you? So let's get the problem solved. And then let's reintroduce them one by one. That's the first thing I want to do.
You mentioned to me about magnesium earlier. You said that's one of the most common, have I got that right? One of the most common deficiencies or something like that?
In terms of deficiencies, yeah. So obviously deficiencies can affect these type of things like energy and stuff like that. I'm not saying every single time it's going to be your gut, but someone that's low energy, let's just say you're 50% of what you should be. Let's just say you are deficient in like iron or something like that. Or another example, maybe like sleep. That's probably a better example. Let's just say coffee affects your sleep, but you're also deficient in magnesium and you're having the worst sleep ever. You cut out coffee, for example, which is massive, but then you're like, instead of 50%, you're like 80, and then that magnesium will get you from 80 to 100. So we do vitamin level tests as well. But I'd say most of the time, it is an intolerance, because I never recommend getting an intolerance test and a vitamin deficiency test, because when you're having your intolerances, you absorb less vitamins and minerals in your body. So like if you've done both of them, and then like a couple of weeks later you've done another vitamin test, it's probably going to come up different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. See, another thing, I don't know how much you can say on this, because obviously it's like your client and stuff like that, but one of the things that really sold me is you've done some work with Paddy the Baddy. So what's the kind of deal with that? You've worked with some big people. How did he even hear you? Just through social media, etc.? And what's he like as a person, Paddy, as well?
Do you know what? I'm literally, I think I'm seeing him on Monday.
Okay.
Because he's doing a gut test, which we'll talk about a little bit about later.
Let's go into that gut test after.
Honestly, mate, and I'm not just saying it, I've had a couple of businesses and I've worked with a lot of like celebrities and stuff like that. Some amazing ones and some are just like not nice at all. Paddy is probably the nicest one I've had, and he is exactly what when he's being nice, and obviously not when he's talking to like his opponents and stuff, but the way he speaks, he's just like us three.
Yeah,
he's just, if he was here now, he does not think he's better than you. He's just dead sound, mate, honestly. And I've had him on WhatsApp for years. I've done like other stuff with him and stuff like that. And when I done this test, I just messaged him and I was like, would you be interested? And he went, don't really have stomach problems. So told me a little bit, which I have to keep disclosed.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, come down, him and his missus. And just dead cool. Didn't even speak about UFC to him, just talking about food and everything. And he's just so cool. No ego, no nothing. Dead sound. And dead supportive and everything, do you know what I mean? And he's really cool guy, mate.
Yeah, it's on you go, sorry.
But another thing as well, a little bit about water retention. With him, obviously, it's clear, everyone's seen that he's been in the scene on the page and stuff, but he come up with one thing that's very common for water retention. Now, how big does he go after us?
I was about to say, mate, like the difference between his fight week and sometimes you see him, he's blowing away up.
Yeah.
It's mad that he can drop that amount of weight as well. Obviously, a lot of the MMA fighters, they drop ridiculous amounts of weight in like a week, mate. I don't know if you know how much weight these guys can drop in a week, mate. It's like 9-10 kilos sometimes, some of them. But that was one thing I was about to speak to you, because I have obviously seen the pictures of him. He's so much different than what he is and when he's on his fight week.
Yeah, because it's a lot of water retention, for sure.
And then there's something causing that.
Yeah, intolerances, Gluten for me, I guarantee it, if everyone listening to this cuts out gluten, that's the most common one for water retention. If everyone cuts out gluten, if you suffer bloating, you cut out gluten for 1 week, I guarantee you lose a couple of pounds at least, minimum, 100%. And for him, he was the same. So we're going to do this gut test, which I'll touch on later, where he won't get that water retention, but when he's having an intolerance that causes water retention, puts a load of weight on, he's training every single day. So you can't put on like 2 stone. He's training every day.
Is he still training, or does he just kind of go off? Like,
no, he'll train all the time.
But sometimes they don't, mate. Sometimes they go into a fight camp, mate, and the fight camp's so many weeks long. Sometimes once their fights, obviously they need to heal as well, but sometimes they go and they start binging and stuff. No, all of them, but some of them do. He's
binging definitely, but obviously fight camp's like more, he's obviously training at that level, but like, I get what you mean. He's not training as intense. Fight camp's very intense.
Fight camp's basically building up their cardio, and they'll practice a skill and all the way through. Conditioning, exactly, mate.
It's tailored, isn't it, for Justin? I'm meant to be seeing him on. He's going to Vegas on Tuesday.
So can you touch on this microbiome test then, which you've been speaking about? Because I'm really interested. Obviously, you mentioned you had all these intolerances you couldn't have, and now you can introduce these things again. Yeah. So how does that work, man?
I've been looking forward to speak about this. This is probably the first time anyone's heard about this and my story. But this has been something I've kept a little bit quiet, but I've been doing it for a couple of months now. So basically, what I mentioned earlier about like leaky gut, where it gets in the bloodstream, what have you, if you're intolerant to certain foods, that's indicating like you're sensitive to these foods. These are going to cause problems, cause inflammation. Basically, your bacteria in your gut, they help break down food. So when you do this test, it'll have a list. So for me, loads of bacteria in the green, fine, no problem. Loads that are in the red, some of mine weren't even detected. So you've actually got a bacteria that we've developed over time that helps break down lactose, which is in milk. When I done mine, it wasn't even detected. That makes sense. So a lot of people have lactose intolerance and stuff like that. If they done this and then they fed that bacteria, because all them bacteria that in the red will tell you exactly how to replenish them. Sometimes it's supplementation. For me, for example, like a couple of my foods that fed them bacteria was leek, garlic, celery, which I never have celery, never had leek in my life.
Let me just get this right. So when you introduce these foods, it got these bacteria almost like firing again.
Exactly.
Or they got the bacteria in it they got, and then you could then start to receive
exactly
and eat the stuff that you want actually.
Yeah.
Right, cool,
So once all them bacteria are in the green, everything's getting broke down properly. Obviously, I'm not saying every single person can eat anything, because someone's celiac, they can't have gluten. They're not going to be able to have it. Someone's got like a serious health condition where they have to avoid certain foods, seeds, something with seeds. I'm not saying for absolutely everyone, but if it's just an intolerance, this is going to get rid of it for sure in terms of food. So for me,
that's kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah, it really is, mate. It's interesting to hear.
Oh, do you know what? It's crazy. This has been, obviously, I love what I do. I love helping people. It's unbelievable. It is amazing. But I know it sounds a bit sad, but I've always said, my dream is to be able to cut your foods out and then go, do you know what? Now I'm going to be able to help you enjoy them foods as well. So I'm going to change your life first, and now you're going to be able to enjoy the foods as well.
Yeah.
The first thing I'd done for it was I paid $5,000, what's that, like $3,500 to work with this gut specialist in America who claimed he could do this, heal your gut completely. And he put me on this specific diet, and it was like a lot of these certain veg and stuff like that, and don't have like meat until 2 p.m. and stuff like that. Done it. Didn't work at all. I went, it has to be tailored to your, it can't be just a specific diet, because we've had some of the gut test results, and some of them are like, you got to have cherries. Some of them are, you got to avoid cherries. Some of them, they're all different, so it's got to be tailored to each person. But once I've done it, so I just went, let's go for it. So this is the final test, and it wasn't $5,000 as well. So it's $369. That's how much it is. Yeah. Which for sweet, whatever you want, to bargain, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
So,
is this something that you offer?
Yeah.
Do you do that now?
Yeah, we do it now. I've just not. This is the first time I'm speaking public about it. I've done a little video when I first started, and I started to feel a bit better, but I hadn't tried all the food yet. So the first one, I started having dairy, no skin problems whatsoever. That was probably after about maybe 6 to 8 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, and I'll be honest with you, as I say, I'm all organic, no pesticides and all that type of stuff, but I'm also not, I also say it as it is, and I'm not going to lie, I'm on a little bit of a binge, which is normal. I've been deprived of all these foods. Can't have chocolate, can't have cheese, can't have these. So as soon as I found out I could have it again, I just had a little binge, probably about 2 weeks, eating loads of, I love Kinders.
Yeah.
Which I'm not promoting bad health, I'm not promoting.
But it's nice, mate. It's nice you went full circle with this. You basically had all these, you were fine, you had all these issues, you resolved them, and now you found a solution to basically bring them back into your life where you can maybe enjoy them, but without overindulging now.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a nice full circle sort of moment.
Yeah. I feel like it's good. Like for me personally, everyone might be different. For me, because I've been deprived for maybe like 12, 13 years, something like that, I just needed to get some things out of my system. So I've always said, like, if I can have this again, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I had like about 3 pizzas, loads of Kinders for like a week or two. Now I don't have them. Don't eat chocolate. Don't have pizzas. And then, go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I think this has been unbelievable, especially for me. We're going to have to try and wrap this up now, mate. But for me, I can see how passionate you are about this, mate. And it's so good to hear you speak about it. And I've took so much for it. And I hope people have took just as much as me. This could be life changing for a lot of people, mate. So really appreciate your time, mate. It's been brilliant.
Thanks
really
for having me on.
mate.
Appreciate it.
JD Testing on Instagram. Check them out, mate.
So basically, just to kind of round that up, you basically offer the electrical intolerance test, the blood one in person. You can do a send away one, and then you're doing this microbiome test. Yeah. That's everything as well, isn't it?
So we can help you no matter where you are. We can do a test. If you're in Glasgow, if you're in Scotland, you're in England, whatever, we can do it either in person or digitally as well. Yeah. And then once you've done that, you've got the option to carry on, or you can do the gut microbiome test. And eat your Kinders and stuff.
Perfect, man. John, what a time, mate. Perfect. Thanks very much for coming.
Thanks so much for having Jon there as well, mate.
I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, guys.